Hello, welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 5 of Dinosaur Week. In this episode I'll be discussing 1 million years BC. This is a 1966 Hammer film directed by Don Chaffee, starring Raquel Welch and John Richardson. Not the John Richardson from the British comedy television panel show. It was filmed in the Canary Islands and features some very attractive cinematography and some sweeping epic locations. It also features some epic historical anachronisms, and it doesn't really care. This film is not setting out to be a history lecture. But if you do want to get nitpicky, here are some things to bear in mind. It's called 1 million years BC, and it features dinosaurs, yet dinosaurs had gone extinct 65 million years before the film is set. It also features humans, and humans hadn't yet evolved, and there's a goat and a warthog, and neither of these creatures had evolved either. But probably most hilariously of all, one of the cavemen opens up his mouth and shows us a mouth full of British amalgam fillings. That's pretty impressive dental work for a caveman. Also, the cave girls in this film are notably 1960s in style. They all have false eyelashes, plucked eyebrows, eyeshadow, lipstick, dyed hair and dental caps, none of which came into fashion until at least the sequel. The film also has almost no dialogue. It's mainly grunts and a few made-up words, so by necessity it's a very simple and straightforward story. It has to be told largely through gestures and facial expressions, but essentially the story is John Richardson's character is a brunette caveman from the brunette rock tribe who are quite unevolved and savage, and he gets exiled from his tribe. In fact, he gets thrown off a mountain into a shrubbery. It's quite funny. It's a little bit Monty Python, but anyway, I'll treat it with the seriousness that the subject matter deserves. He gets hurled off a mountain into a shrubbery and goes into exile, wandering through the desert plains, and he encounters one or two prehistoric creatures along the way. The first one that he encounters is actually depicted by a real lizard, and this is worrying and hugely disappointing the first time you see the film, because it's a Harryhausen film. It even says on the box, it's one of the main selling points, special effects by Ray Harryhausen. It's pretty unambiguous. So when this giant lizard crops up, you think, what's going on? It turns out Harryhausen actually deliberately wanted the first dinosaur we see to be a real lizard, because to his way of thinking that would make the next dinosaurs more realistic, more believable as stop motion creatures if the first one that you'd seen had been a real lizard. I disagree with his hypothesis on this occasion. I think that it would have been much better if all the dinosaurs in the film had been stop motion. So anyway, John Richardson wanders through the desert, encounters one or two prehistoric creatures, and eventually finds himself on a beach where he meets the blonde Shell Tribe. The Shell Tribe are more sophisticated, more evolved, they've got their own culture, they make jewellery, they do cave paintings, and they've got more words in their language. And they adopt him into their tribe just in time for him to have a fight with a dinosaur and be very, very impressive. Now, one of the females of the tribe, played by Raquel Welsh, possibly the most beautiful female cave person who ever lived, she is quite enamoured of him. She's impressed by his manliness, and the two of them become kind of mates. Shortly after this manly display, John Richardson gets into a bit of a scrap with one of the male Shell Tribe members over a spear, and both he and Raquel Welsh get exiled from that tribe, and they go wandering off together into the desert. At this point, I'd like to pause and discuss the music. Now, the music for this film is very 1960s in style. It's similar to Planet of the Apes and features very percussive metallic sounds. In fact, I can imagine the musicians actually with sticks banging metal objects like old coach springs and stoves and toasters. It's an ugly sound. It's experimental and avant-garde. Composers in the 1960s were experimenting with this new kind of sound, and it was very popular back then. Personally, I prefer a more melodic score. I like film music that I can hum along with, and as the film progresses, the music does become more melodic. It evolves as the characters evolve. Strangely, The melodic aspects of the music in this film reminded me a lot of the Roman Polanski film Dance of the Vampires, aka The Fearless Vampire Killers. It features lots of female warbling vocals, kind of similar to the opening title music from the original Star Trek. And again, this is very 1960s. Not my cup of tea. The early music with the banging metal sounds I just found grating, and the later music with the warbling melodic vocals was a little bit freaky and disturbing. Not my cup of tea at all. One aspect of the film that did not disappoint, however, was the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs in this film were superb. Ray Harryhausen did a really good job. Of course, you have to view this film in light of the fact that it was made in the 1960s. The dinosaurs are stop motion. Computer-generated imagery did not yet exist. But if you can view it in that context and accept that the primitive technology was actually pioneering technology at the time, then it's very impressive work. Ray Harryhausen did some of his best work in the 1960s, and the dinosaurs in this film integrate extremely well with the live-action actors, and in particular the scene with the Triceratops and the Ceratosaurus. It's a fabulously choreographed fight, it's very exciting, and it's thrilling in the context of the type of film that you're watching and the period in which it was made. So anyway, Raquel Welch and John Richardson get exiled from the blonde Shell tribe and make their way back to the brunette Rock tribe, where Raquel Welch has a massive bitch fight with the brunette Martine Beswick. And then a volcano erupts, causing massive devastation and turning the local environment into a desolate wasteland. And so the two tribes, the blonde Shell tribe and the brunette Rock tribe, must come together and unite, in a theme kind of similar to the episode of Star Trek with Frank Gorshin, where his face is split down the middle, one half white, one half black. It's giving a very clear message. Yes, it's kind of a silly dinosaur film with scantily clad cave girls in fur bikinis, but it also had something to say. It had something to say back in the 1960s when it was made, and that message is possibly even more relevant today. Strangely, the film has aged quite well, and if viewed on a good quality print, is actually very beautiful. It contains some of Ray Harryhausen's best work, and it's a film that knows what it is and doesn't pretend to be anything else. And it has in it what remains after 54 years the most perfect vision of a cave girl ever committed to celluloid. And on that note, I think we'll call it a day. Thank you very, very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you know what to do. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will see you next time. See you later.